Osman I, also known as Osman Ghazi, is considered the founder of the Ottoman Empire. Though it began as a small principality, it grew into a vast empire lasting centuries. So let's study about this important character. Historical background. The Ottoman Turks were likely part of the Kai tribe, a Turkic group. The Kai people were skilled fighters and served the Seljuk Sultanate. Ertugrul was rewarded with land and the title of Marcher Lord for his military service. Ertugrul had bigger plans though, and used his position to raid Byzantine territory and expand his own dominion throughout his rule. Lineage. The exact date of Osman's birth is unknown. Some sources say he was born on the same day the Mongols invaded Baghdad, while others say he was born a few years earlier in the middle of the 13th century. Osman was born in the town of Skut, which his father Ertugrul made the capital of his emirate. He was raised in the traditional nomadic Turkic ways and learned wrestling, swordsmanship, horse riding, and archery. An opposing view suggests Osman was a shepherd with humble origins. He controlled the Sogat region and launched raids against the neighboring Byzantine Empire. The first documented event is his victory against a Byzantine force in the Battle of Baphius 1301 or 1302. Osman's strategy focused on expanding his territory at the expense of the weakened Byzantines while avoiding conflicts with stronger Turkish neighbors. His initial conquests targeted the passes leading from northern Phrygia to the fertile plains of Bithynia. These conquests involved defeating local Byzantine nobles in battles or peacefully absorbing them through purchases, marriages, and other agreements. Some historians say Osman's rise to power wasn't peaceful. He had to fight his relatives, particularly his uncle Dunder Bey, who disagreed with Osman's ambitious plans and possibly plotted against him. Osman emerged victorious, even killing Dunder Bey for defying him. Another account claims Osman's younger uncle became Bey after his father's death. While Osman raided Byzantine lands, the Byzantines complained to the Seljuk Sultan. The Sultan summoned Osman, who impressed him with his courage. Instead of punishment, the Sultan sent Osman to a Sufi mystic, Haji Bektash Veli. The mystic approved of Osman, declared he had been waiting for someone like him, and sent Osman back to the Sultan with the message that Osman should be the Kai Emir. The Sultan then appointed Osman as leader. Importance of the Osmanic Beylik location. Osman's Beylik thrived due to its strategic location. Skut, on a key trade route, was easily defensible, bordering the Byzantines, a weak empire busy elsewhere. Osman's dream. Osman I, founder of the Ottoman Empire, enjoyed a close friendship with Sheikh Edebali, a revered dervish leader. Osman even married the Sheikh's daughter. Later Ottoman chroniclers crafted a story to explain this bond. According to the 15th century account by Axkazazid, Osman had a remarkable dream while staying with the Sheikh. In his vision, a moon emerged from the Sheikh's chest and settled within Osman's own. Then, a grand tree sprouted from Osman's navel, its branches reaching across the entire world. Beneath its shade flowed rivers from the base of mountains, nourishing people, gardens, and fountains. Upon waking, Osman recounted the dream to the Sheikh. The Sheikh, interpreting the symbols, declared, "Osman, my son, rejoice. Allah has bestowed upon you and your descendants the gift of rulership. And my daughter, Malhan, shall be your wife." Expansion of the Beylik. Until the end of the 13th century, Osman I conquered areas including Balchik, Yenisehir, Inegel, Yarhisar, and various Byzantine castles. His significant conquests began after the collapse of Seljuk authority, allowing him to capture Kulakahizar and Eskisehir, followed by the important city of Yenisehir, which became the Ottoman capital. In 1302, after defeating a Byzantine force near Nicaea, Osman settled his forces closer to Byzantine areas. The Byzantines, alarmed by his growing influence, fled the Anatolian countryside. While their leadership's attempts to contain Ottoman expansion were ineffective, Osman continued expanding north along the Sakarya River and southwest towards the Sea of Marmara, achieving his objectives by 1308. His last campaign targeted the city of Bursa, which, after its capture, became a critical base for further Ottoman campaigns and served as the new capital for his son, Orhan. Conquest of Karakahizar. After establishing his Beylik, Osman faced two main adversaries, the Byzantines and the Turkoman Beyliks, notably the Germanids. He prioritized expanding at the expense of the Byzantines. His first significant battle against them, around 1284 or 1285 CE, ended in defeat and casualties, including his nephew. Determined to avenge this loss, Osman attacked the Byzantine fortress of Kulakahizar in 1286 CE, successfully capturing it and extending his territory. This victory prompted further conflict, culminating in a fierce battle between Bilchik and Inegul, where Osman's brother and the Byzantine commander were killed. But the Ottomans emerged victorious. Significant achievements earned him recognition and rewards from the Seljuk Sultan Alauddin Kayqubad III, including governance over conquered lands, exemption from taxes, and valuable gifts, conquest of Bilchik, Yarhisar, and Inegul. After conquering Karakahizar, Osman marched north towards the Sakarya River and raided the forts of Jinik and Yenis Tarkli. During this time, his Byzantine friend Keksi Mihal warned him of a conspiracy by the Tekfurs of Bilchik and Yarhisar to kill him at a wedding. Feeling betrayed by Bilchik's Tekfur, whom he had trusted, Osman devised a plan. He sent 40 soldiers with some belongings to Bilchik, and they overpowered the small garrison, capturing the fort. Osman then ambushed the Byzantines at the wedding, winning the battle and killing most of them. He took Yarhisar by surprise, killing many and capturing the Tekfur's daughter, Halafira, who later married his son Orhan and was renamed Bilan. Osman then took control of the towns and villages around Inegul, laid siege to the fort, and captured it. He executed Inegul's Tekfur for persecuting Muslims, established a new garrison, and distributed the loot among his men. Fall of the Seljuk Sultanate of Ram and the Osmanic Beylik's independence. Osman, following several victorious campaigns, strategically expanded his territory in Anatolia along two main axes. Initially, he blocked the eastern approach to Iznik and advanced westward towards Lopadian and Evernos. Avoiding direct confrontation with fortified Bursa, Osman maneuvered around Mount Uludak from the north and south, strengthening alliances with neighboring Muslim entities to the southeast. Meanwhile, the Byzantine Empire faced internal discord and external threats from Anatolian powers like the Germanians and coastal Beyliks, weakening its ability to counter Osman's advances. This allowed Osman to capitalize on the empire's vulnerabilities and expand his influence at Byzantium's expense. Simultaneously, the Seljuk Sultanate of Ram was in decline, culminating in Sultan Alauddin Kayqubad III's unpopular rule and subsequent execution by the Mongol Ilkhan Khan. This instability led to Osman asserting his autonomy and eventually declaring himself sovereign. With the Sultanate's collapse, Osman consolidated power and focused on conquering remaining Byzantine territories in Anatolia, benefiting from the influx of soldiers and resources from disintegrating Seljuk forces. His strategic positioning and alliances set the stage for the emergence of the Ottoman Empire as a dominant force in the region. Battle of Baphius. After Osman secured his independence and conquered fortresses, he sent messages to remaining Byzantine governors in Anatolia, offering them the choice of converting to Islam, accepting Ottoman sovereignty and paying jizya, or facing war. Some, including Osman's old friend Keksi Mihal, converted to Islam and supported Osman. Others acknowledged his sovereignty, while some remained loyal to the Byzantine emperor. The Battle of Baphius occurred on the 27th of July 1302, between an Ottoman army under Osman I and a Byzantine army under George Muzalan. By 1301, the Ottoman Turks were besieging Nicaea and harassing Prusa. Their raids also threatened Nicomedia with famine as they prevented the collection of the harvest. In the spring of 1302, Co-Emperor Michael IX launched a campaign reaching Magnesia. Initially avoiding battle due to the size of Michael's army, the Turks resumed their raids when they saw his hesitation. Isolated at Magnesia, Michael's army disbanded as local troops and Alans left to defend their homes. Michael had to withdraw by sea, accompanied by a wave of refugees. In response to the threat to Nicomedia, including 1,000 Alan mercenaries under George Muzalan. On July 27, 1302, at the plain of Baphius, the Byzantines encountered a Turkish army of 5,000 light cavalry led by Osman. The Turkish cavalry charged and broke the Byzantine line, as the Alan mercenaries did not engage in the battle. Consequently, George Muzalan had to retreat into Nicomedia with the protection of the Alan force. The Battle of Baphius marked a significant early victory for the nascent Ottoman Beylik, leading to the Byzantine loss of control over the countryside of Bithynia. This allowed Osman to capture the castle of Koyun Hisar and the coastal town of Gemlik, as the Byzantines retreated to isolated forts that gradually fell. The defeat also prompted a Christian exodus from the region, altering its demographics. Along with the defeat at Magnesia, Baphius signaled the Byzantine loss of Asia Minor. The battle contributed to the Ottomans developing state-like characteristics. Despite this, the complete Ottoman conquest of Bithynia was gradual, with the last Byzantine stronghold, Nicomedia, falling in 1337. Following the victory, many Ghazis flocked to Bithynia, believing Byzantine resistance had been broken. Byzantine-Mongol convergence attempt. After Osman secured independence and control over the fortresses he conquered, he distributed the lands among his kin and military leaders, establishing Islamic dominance and ending Byzantine rule in these areas. Emperor Andronikos II, alarmed by the Ottoman expansion and unable to confront them directly due to recent defeats and conflicts in the Balkans, sought an alliance with the Mongols in Persia. However, the Mongols were preoccupied with their conflict against the Mamluks, culminating in a decisive Mongol defeat at the Battle of Shikab in 1303. This defeat weakened Ghazan, who died in 1304, ending any potential Byzantine-Mongol alliance and allowing the Ottomans to continue their conquests. Byzantine-Catalan alliance. After Ghazan's death, the Byzantine Emperor sought new ways to counter Ottoman expansion and hired Catalan mercenaries led by Roger de Fla. The Catalans, unemployed after the Peace of Caltabellotta in 1302 CE, arrived in Constantinople in January 1303 CE. Roger de Fla married the emperor's niece, Maria Assadina, and was made Megasdu commander of the imperial forces, with a promise of payment for him and his men. The Catalans soon crossed to Asia Minor, defeating the Karasids and Germanians. They lifted the siege of Philadelphia by defeating Yakub I of Germian. However, the Byzantines lacked the resources to capitalize on these victories. The Catalans eventually turned against the Byzantines after the people of Magnesia killed a Catalan garrison and stole its treasure. Roger de Fla was killed on the orders of Michael IX, the emperor's son, leading to further violence. The Byzantines and Catalans soon went to war, allowing Osman to continue his conquests. Conquest of Yenisehir and its surroundings. After securing his northern borders by reaching the Black and Marmara Seas, Osman shifted focus to his southern borders. He targeted Byzantine towns, villages, and fortresses near Yenisehir, eventually capturing it and making it his temporary capital after fortifying it. Osman continued his campaigns, conquering several Byzantine fortresses, including Evandisar, Lefk, Ekhisar, Kokhisar, Yenisehir, Marmarak, and Kapurhisar. These conquests aimed to create a security belt around Yenisehir. Conquest of Bursa. With Yenisehir firmly under his control, Osman shifted his focus to the significant and strategically important city of Bursa. Unbeknownst to him, this would be his last military campaign. He ordered the construction of two formidable forts to oversee and encircle Bursa. Once these forts were completed, Osman stationed large garrisons within them. This strategic move enabled his forces to tighten the blockade around Bursa, effectively preventing any supplies from reaching the city. The siege of Bursa proved to be a lengthy endeavor, stretching from 6 to 9 years. This prolonged duration was primarily due to the Ottomans' lack of siege engines and their inexperience in capturing a large fortified city. Throughout this protracted siege, Osman and his military commanders continued to expand their control by conquering smaller Byzantine fortresses in the vicinity of their territory. Several local Byzantine leaders, known as Tekfirs, acknowledged Osman's sovereignty and submitted to his rule, with some even converting to Islam. As the siege dragged on, Osman's health began to decline due to gout. Unable to lead his men in further campaigns or witness the ongoing siege, he entrusted his son Orhan with the responsibility of completing the mission. Osman retired to his capital while Orhan took command. Orhan's strategy involved maintaining the blockade without direct fighting, further isolating Bursa by capturing surrounding strongholds. He took Mudanya, severing the city's connection to the sea, and also captured Prenetos on the southern coast of Izmit, renaming it Kara-Mursal after its Muslim conqueror, Kara-Mursal Bey. The last fort to fall was Base, which overlooked Bursa and was considered its key. It was renamed Orhaneli. Orhan's relentless blockade eventually led to the garrison's despair within Bursa. Recognizing the inevitability of the city's fall to Muslim hands, The Byzantine Emperor made the difficult decision to order the evacuation of Bursa. On April 6, 1326, Orhan entered Bursa. The inhabitants, having acknowledged Ottoman sovereignty, were spared from harm and agreed to pay jizya, a tax levied on non-Muslims under Islamic rule. The garrison's leader, Saros, surrendered to Orhan and pledged allegiance to Osman's authority. Saros also converted to Islam and was honored with the title of Bey, a mark of respect for his courage and endurance during the siege. The fall of Bursa marked a significant milestone in the establishment of Ottoman power, setting the stage for further expansion and consolidation of their emerging empire. Death of the legend. Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire, is believed to have lived long enough to witness the fall of Bursa. Orhan, his son, rushed back to Sogit to inform his father of this significant victory. Upon arrival, Orhan was immediately summoned to the deathbed of Osman, who was gravely ill. After hearing the news of Bursa's fall, Osman succumbed to natural causes. Despite not being Osman's firstborn, Orhan was named his successor, as Osman believed Orhan was more fit to rule than his elder half-brother, Alaeddin. Alaeddin was considered more passive and pious, while Orhan was seen as a better leader for the burgeoning empire. Osman's death is commonly attributed to gout, a condition he suffered from for many years. Gout was prevalent in the Ottoman dynasty. Osman I's death followed the deaths of his father-in-law, Sheikh Edebali, and his wife, Rabia Beyla Hatun, whom he buried in Bilchik. After Osman died, his son Orhan moved his body to Bursa, the new Ottoman capital, fulfilling Osman's wish to be buried under a silver dome. In addition to his burial wishes, Osman reportedly left a written will for Orhan. This will instructed his son to continue the conquests and jihad against the Byzantines, adhere to Islamic teachings, seek the company of scholars, improve governance, and dedicate himself to spreading Islam. This legacy of leadership and piety significantly influenced the early years of the Ottoman Empire's expansion and consolidation under Orhan's rule. Legacy of Osman Ghazi. Osman Ghazi, the man who ignited the spark that became a centuries-long empire, casts a long shadow across history. While he never donned the Sultan's crown himself, his leadership as Bey Prince of a small Turkoman principality laid the foundation for the Ottoman dynasty. His strategic conquests and savvy alliances in northwestern Anatolia during the 13th and early 14th centuries transformed a frontier beylik into a powerful entity. Osman's legacy extends far beyond territorial expansion. He established a system of governance that his successors would refine, a blend of Turkish tribal traditions and Islamic principles. His reputation as a pious and just leader, a Ghazi warrior for Islam, inspired future generations of Ottomans. Though the empire crumbled after World War I, the Osmanoglu family, Osman's descendants, continue to exist, scattered across the globe. Their presence serves as a living reminder of the dynasty's enduring impact.